In this room, at this table, my niece spreads a glossy anniversary invitation between us and whispers that her husband plans to use that party to push her out of her own home. He is still talking in her head when she sits down. I'm Esther. I keep calm plans on paper. In this room, at this table, Lila's hands shake over the envelope. The card is heavy, gold letters, big hotel name. Her voice is small. She says the party is not the real problem. The problem is what her husband hinted at last night when he thought she was asleep. The problem is the way his mother has started asking about deeds and where Lila keeps her documents. I listen. I let her spill the pieces out onto this table like puzzle parts. Then I flatten my palm on the wood and tell her we will put the picture together slowly, here, in this room, before anyone hands her papers in a crowd. I ask her to start at the last strange thing, not the first. She says she woke to his voice outside this room, low and eager on the phone. He said words like, she will not see it coming, and do it with everyone there so she cannot make a scene. He laughed in a way she did not know anymore. She stayed still in this chair, she tells me, staring at this table as if it could steady her. After he went to bed, she read his calendar reminder on the phone he left here. It said, call lawyer about property on the same day as confirm ballroom. That was when her chest started to feel tight, and she texted me to come. Next, we pull in his mother. Lila says her mother-in-law has been visiting this room more often, sitting in this chair with a bright, false smile. She brings brochures for retirement trips, jokes about fresh starts, and slips questions into the talk. Questions like who is on the condo title, whether Lila has thought about simplifying the paperwork, whether it might be easier to sign a few things and move to a smaller place. None of it is open, but all of it points in one direction. Away from this room, away from this table, away from the home her parents helped her buy before she married him. I do not rush to speak. Instead, I slide a blank sheet of paper to the center of this table and draw 3 boxes. I write at the top of the first box, what we know. In the second, what we fear. In the third, what we can do from this room. My handwriting is slow and plain. I tell her we will not live inside guesses if we can help it. We will write down facts first. We list the late-night calls, the party, the new interest in property, the way he changed his computer password last month. We list what is in her name and what is shared. We keep the words simple so her mind can breathe. In the second box, what we fear, the words come faster. Lila says she is afraid he will stand up at that party and announce their split in front of everyone. She is afraid his mother and some lawyer will be waiting at the door with a neat stack of pages and a pen, asking for a quick signature while her head is still spinning. She is afraid people will stare, and that shame will make her say yes to things that would ruin her later. I nod. Fear grows in the dark. We are turning the light on by naming it here at this table, while the room is still quiet. When the page is full of worry, I tap the third box. What we can do from this room, I read out. This is where things change. I tell Lila that people can try many tricks, but they cannot make her sign anything at a party. They cannot make her leave this home in one night. They cannot stop her from asking for time and her own helper. The law is bigger than his pride, even if he feels powerful right now. What we need are clear lines she can remember when her heart is pounding. lines she can say in any room, starting with this one. I ask one short question: whose name is on the deed? Not in her memory, but on the actual paper. She says her parents bought the condo before she married him. She thinks both names are on it now, but she's not sure when his name was added. I tell her thinking is not enough. We need to see. We need a copy. She goes to the small safe by the wall and brings back a thin folder. She lays it on this table like it might explode. Together, we read line by line. Her parents are listed first. Then a gift to her alone. 2 months later, an add-on where he appears as spouse. I underline the dates with my finger so she can feel them. I am not her lawyer, and I tell her that. But I have lived long enough to know that timing matters. A place gifted to you before marriage often stays yours in the eyes of the law, unless you sign that power away. That does not mean there will be no fight. It does mean she has more ground under her feet than she thought. I write a note in the third box. Ask independent lawyer about gift date. Lila's shoulders drop a little. This table is doing what tables do best. It is holding weight, so her body does not have to carry all of it alone. Now we plan our next move. I ask who she trusts, who knows the law. Not his lawyer, not his mother's friend. Someone who answers only to her. She remembers a woman from work who went through a hard split last year and spoke well of her attorney. We write the name and number down on a small card. We will not search in panic later. We will call from this table with the folder open while the house is quiet. I suggest we put the phone on speaker so Lila can take notes and I can hear enough to remind her later if her mind goes blank. The call is simple, and that is how it should be. We sit side by side in these chairs, the folder open between us on this table. Lila explains that there might be a public scene at an anniversary dinner and that she fears being rushed into signing property papers. The lawyer on the line does not gasp or add drama. She just asks for dates, names, and copies. She says the same thing I told Lila in softer, firmer words. No one can force you to sign anything at a party. You can always say no and ask to review with your own counsel. She offers to write a short letter summing up Lila's rights before the event. When we hang up, Lila's hands are still unsteady, but her eyes are sharper. We add a line to the third box. Have lawyer's letter in folder. I tell her this is not about winning a show. It is about not letting other people write the whole story for her. We talk about money next. She has seen strange withdrawals from their shared account in the last month. Fancy gifts, hotel deposits, bigger restaurant charges, all marked as business. I ask her to print those statements the next morning and bring them back to this table. Not to wave in anyone's face, but to understand what has already left. Now we move from paper to words. I take another sheet and write at the top, sentences for hard moments. Under that, we build a line for the door of the party. It sounds like this when we are done. I do not sign legal papers here. I will take them home and review them with my own lawyer. Simple, steady, not rude. Lila practices saying it with her eyes on this table, as if the papers are already there. At first her voice breaks on the word not. We say it again, slower, until the sentence feels less like a wish and more like a small, solid bridge she can stand on. We write a second line for the microphone moment she fears. Not a speech, Just one clear reply if he tries to make an announcement about their marriage in front of others and points at her like a prop. The sentence we shape is short. This is not the place for private decisions. I will talk about our future in a quiet room with my own support. I remind her that she does not have to explain more. She can say this once, calmly, and then leave. We rehearse it until she can say the words without apologizing with her eyes. His mother needs her own line too. We both know that. Lila tells me how Mona tilts her head and says things that sound kind but cut deep. Think of his career, she says. Be reasonable. It is just a paper. I ask Lila what she wants to say back, but is afraid to. She whispers that she wants to say she is not a piece of furniture that can be moved out for a new style. So we translate that feeling into a short, calm sentence. It becomes, I respect your love for your son, but I will not talk about signing papers without my own advisor present. We practice that one until it feels less frightening to imagine her saying it. By now, several small cards lie on this table in a neat row. Each one holds a sentence. Each sentence holds a piece of Lila's safety. We stack them and clip them to the front of the folder with the deed copy and the bank printouts. I call it her home rules pack in my head, but I do not give it a grand name out loud. I tell her this is not a weapon, it is a reminder. On the day of the party, when nerves are high, she can open it in this room, sit in this chair, and read each line out loud to herself before she leaves. We do one more kind of rehearsal. I ask Lila to close her eyes and imagine she is already at the party. The lights, the music, the faces. She imagines him tapping a glass for silence, starting to talk about new paths and moving on. I watch her hands on this table. When I see her fingers press into the wood, I gently ask her to open her eyes and look at the card in front of her. She reads her sentence again. I tell her that even if her voice trembles, the words will still be there, like a little rail she can hold on to as she walks out. Later, when the lawyer's letter arrives, we sit here again. The letter is not poetic. It simply states that the condo was originally gifted to Lila, that any change in ownership requires her free consent, and that she has secured independent counsel. It also says she will not be signing legal documents in social settings. We add a copy to the folder. Lila smiles a little for the first time. For months, everything has felt like it belonged to him. His plans, his words, his mother's ideas. Now there is at least one paper that clearly belongs to her side of the story. I will not tell you what happened at the party in detail. That part is hers. I will tell you this. When she came back to this room, she put the folder on this table, sat in this chair, and breathed like someone who had walked through a storm and found the door handle on the other side. There was shouting, yes. There were tears from other people. There were words meant to embarrass her. But she used her lines. She did not sign. And when she said, "You will hear from my lawyer," she was not bluffing. The folder she built here made that sentence true. Now the folder lives in a drawer near this table, not because she is waiting for another attack, but because it reminds her of what she can do in this room. From here, she can move money into safe places with good advice. From here, she can answer calls with short sentences instead of panic. From here, she can host other women who are just waking up to plans made behind their backs. She tells them what I told her. You do not have to be louder than the person trying to trap you. You only have to be clear. If you were in this chair across from me now, I would slide a blank page onto this table and borrow the same 3 boxes we used for Lila. What you know, what you fear, what you can do from your own quiet place. We would write down whose name is on what, where the money has already gone, and which helpers are truly yours. Then we would shape 1 or 2 short lines you can say even when your heart is racing. You might not feel brave yet. That is all right. Bravery often begins at a table like this one, with a pen, a page, and a plan you can reach for when the party lights feel too bright.